Well, people. Welcome into, man, this is episode 26 of 26 Minutes. Clearly, I'm not the 26-minute man himself, Clinton Portis. I'm Meineke like that. CP is on the phone because he is just getting some much-needed and well-deserved R&R. Tell the folks where you at, CP.
I'm on vacation. I don't need to tell the folks where I'm at, but it's great for our 26th episode. The view over here is epic. The weather is epic. The water is nice. The pool is nice. The food is good. So I'm on vacation. I'm unwinding, I should say. I think I've been on the go since Thanksgiving, actually, nonstop. Every 2 days, I think I've been on a plane going somewhere or doing something, and I finally got a chance to just cut it off and say, I need me time, especially after Super Bowl in Atlanta.
You deserve it. If people don't follow you on Instagram, they should, and then they should get in their feelings about being here in the DMV where it is wet and cold and rainy and not as flawless as wherever you are. Where in the world is CP? You should be the new Carmen Sandiego.
Hey, as soon as the Travel Channel pay me, I'm down.
Ooh, that actually probably would be hilarious. All right, well, thank you for making time to do the show while you're taking in all these beautiful places. So we got to kick.
Miss episode 26. I mean, 26 for 26. You know how dope this is for real. We were talking about it in the studio, but to be at episode 26 of 26 minutes for number 26 is like brilliant. So.
It is brilliant, but I'm not going to lie. I feel some type of way that I'm sitting in the studio by myself talking to you on the phone, and Jake is somewhere having a fantastic life experience, I hope. But anyway, episode 26.
Jake is at the Grammys, which we're going to talk about on this episode. But Jake is out at the Grammys. He got to go to all the Grammy parties, so we'll be listening for Jake next week.
See? Somewhere having an epic life experience. It's cool. I don't mind being the one to hold it down. All right. Anyway, in topics that we're discussing today, Kyler Murray, CP, your guy, the undersized quarterback, he chooses to turn down his offer from the Oakland A's and is turning his attention to the NFL. Do you like it, love it, or did he make the wrong decision?
I actually think he should play baseball, although he's such an extravagant NFL player, college football player. His height and size is going to catch up with him. I don't really think he's going to be able to take the bumps and bruises of a weekly grind at quarterback. I think he's mobile. His arm, his accuracy is spectacular. But being undersized, you see Drew Brees do it, but Drew Brees rarely get hit. Like, Drew Brees is in the pocket, ball out of his hand, where Murray kind of extends plays, and I'm excited for it because of what can possibly happen. He could be the first person ever to go in the first round of baseball and football, which would be unreal when you think about Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders in their athletic ability. So for him to trump both of those guys is special. Even giving back the money, I just think he has a longer career in baseball. But the great thing about it is, as you've seen Tim Tebow do, Tim Tebow went and played baseball at 27. So he has time. He can do both, actually, and I think he's going to be pretty good at it. I just think I would have stuck with baseball from day one, because in baseball you got to go through the minors. You have all of these leagues you got to build up to get to the MLB. Whereas in football, hey, he's taking a shot. He's taking his chance to see how it happens. Where he falls and the team he falls with, if it don't work out, he can always go back to baseball.
But to your point, don't you think, you just said it actually, that he can always go back to baseball. So if he's going to take his chances at football, now's the time, as opposed to maybe 3 years into a baseball career and then being like, oh, wait, I still have this itch I need to scratch. Then he's too far gone. He wouldn't have a shot at that point.
Well, I think, again, doing it by playing football first, he's always going to have the opportunity to play baseball. When you look at the tools that play baseball, most people think baseball is so easy to play. Like, you have to be an amazing athlete to play baseball. The way they make accurate throws from the outfield on the run, to be able to catch those balls in time and gun a man down, get to the next base, the accuracy he has to throw with, everything about baseball says, hey, you know what? Murray, play this for the next 20 years, be the next Ozzie Smith or someone, great. But at the same time, he gets an opportunity to go to the NFL, which is every kid's dream. I don't care who it is. It's your dream, and you get an opportunity. If it doesn't work out, he has something to fall back on. It's not like, well, football didn't work. I got to go to another league or I'm done. It's, well, football didn't work. I gave it a try. I'm going to baseball now because baseball will be ready for him, and he can play baseball until he's like 45.
So he's going to go pursue football. Adam Schefter, I believe, reported that he signed with the same agent that Cliff Kingsbury has, who's the new head coach out in Arizona. Where do you see him going in the draft, though, CP?
I don't think he's going to be the first pick. That would be so dope if he's the first pick, but I don't think he's going to be the first pick in the draft. You know, just with so many talented players coming out and teams not wanting to take the risk on his size. Although he's worth it, he only played 1 year of college football, and with that being said, we saw that before where a guy had a great year. And get drafted, go to the NFL, and all of a sudden it's like, he needs some work. But I don't think he's going to be the first pick in the draft. It would be dope if he is. That would be exciting to see, especially in the Kingsbury offense out in Arizona, with how creative he is, how he spreads the field, the same system that Murray is actually coming out of in Oklahoma. They spread the field, find lanes, find throwing lanes, and get guys open. So if he has that opportunity and that kind of system, that could be dangerous.
So here's my, I guess, biggest question out of all this. Like, shout out to you, Kyler Murray. One, you're clearly incredibly talented and gifted to be able to have this conversation about professional sports and two completely different sports. But I do wonder, CP, two things. Who would take a chance on this kid in terms of what type of organization structure does he need to go to? What potential offense would he need to be in? Are we talking about him potentially as a starter next year? And then three, yes, he may have a unique skill set, like you said, in terms of being able to make decisions out of the pocket. He can scramble. But to your point, the size is also a deficit for him. What about the curve? Because when you talk to guys that go from college to pro at any level, in any sport rather, they always talk about how much faster the game is and how much bigger the next level guys are as athletes. Like, yes, he has the skill set, but do you see it translating?
Well, I do, because if you're an athlete, you're an athlete. You look at Russell Wilson; he had the same issue, right? You look at Russell Wilson. Look how many teams wish they wouldn't have passed on him. So it just takes going to a system where the coach knows how to use you. Russell Wilson never gets hit. You've never seen Russell Wilson get hit. As many times as he's extended plays and extended the pocket and scrambled downfield, he goes down 3-4 yards before contact is even there. Like, okay, I did what I had to do and go down. If you can instill in Murray to not take a hit, to, get rid of the ball, throw the ball out of bounds, run out of bounds, or slide, which I don't think should be hard for him, being that he's a baseball player, right, learning how to slide. So if he can execute that, you look at an offense that's going to give him the opportunity to play his style of ball. You can't go to a team that's trying to change you and make you a pocket passer or, I want this guy to strictly do this. No, you have to let him go out and be an athlete, do the same thing he did at Oklahoma. That's what he's good at. You can't all of a sudden take such a talented player and try to restrict him to being who you think he should be. So going to a guy like Kingsbury or someone else, like a young offensive mind that's going to be fun, I think would be great for him. But going to a system that's set on a system quarterback, and this is how we do it, and this is going to be our offense, I don't see it working for him.
Well, there's certainly lots of reason to tune in and see where Kyler Murray lands. Lots of excitement and stuff around the draft this year. Really quickly, Kyler or Dwayne Haskins?
I would go Kyler.
Really?
I just think he's more mobile. I think his accuracy is better. He gives you a bigger play. Although Haskins is a good player as well, he don't really have that mobility. And for what it takes with him, I've just never seen Ohio State quarterbacks pan out. You look at You look at the kid that came from Oklahoma last year up at Cleveland, Baker Mayfield, and you want to ride that wave. Like, people felt like Baker Mayfield was too small, and look what he did in Cleveland. So if Kyler Murray, who Baker Mayfield and the rest of Oklahoma staff was so excited about, gets that same opportunity, then I think he has a bigger upside. Whereas Haskins, his mobility don't become a question in the NFL. I think it takes him a minute to get rid of the ball. And in the NFL, you got to be able to zip that thing in there and get out of the way. So we shall see.
We will see. Maybe when you go to the combine, you can grab one, if not both of these guys. Can you not leave me this time? Maybe we'll see. All right, you sit tight on the beach wherever you are. I got to pay some bills. Jake, I hope you're listening. Helping people improve their lives is what should drive business. That's the belief at Koch Industries, which employs more than 65,000 people across America. The team at Koch works together to meet the world's changing needs in transportation, medical care, water filtration, household goods, energy-efficient building products, and everyday technologies, all while consuming fewer resources. See the innovations firsthand at kochindustries.com. All right, welcome back into 26 Minutes. Thanks for sticking around. Meineke McNutt here in studio because the brand himself is getting some much-deserved R&R, and Jake is out doing Grammys. I can't wait for us all to be reunited next week. This is going to be fun. Okay, CP, your boy Patrick Mahomes, speaking of quarterbacks of the present and future, we go from the future to the present. Were you like Patrick in terms of doing things you had no business doing as a professional athlete that could potentially injure you as a football player?
Hey, listen, first off, Patrick Mahomes, the starter of my fantasy football team, okay? This guy, I agree with the Chiefs. He needs to sit down. I got to pick you again, first pick in the draft. I got to take you first pick in the draft next year. So you need to sit down. But it was so interesting to me when this story came out about Patrick Mahomes playing basketball, and then the clause in his contract to say all the extracurricular activities that he can't participate in. Now, most players want to go out, play basketball, do whatever in the off season, jet ski or take a chance doing something you shouldn't do, which is always in your contract. But for the Chiefs to step in and shut this down that quick, like, listen, no, we're not risking our investment. You're not going to hurt anything. You're not going to get injured doing something you shouldn't be doing. It's film and football for you. No playing around. No, because as you just seen, you saw John Wall get hurt.
Man.
And, I won't say it was extracurricular activity, but it was an incident in his house. You could go down and the Wizards just paid this man a lot of money, and all of a sudden he go rupture his Achilles in his home. So imagine if something, you don't even want to imagine that, but you don't want that to happen to your star player. But crazy thing is, years ago, many, many years ago, it happened to me. And I went on vacation. I was in Cabo, and this is when Napoleon Dynamite had just come out. So I'm in Cabo, and on Napoleon Dynamite they got the sand dunes. They doing that, and Grandma broke her cocket. So we're out on the sand dunes, and this was so hilarious. I'm like, I'm going for it. I see a dune, and I'm gonna jump. I'm on a four-wheeler. We're out doing wheelies on the four-wheelers. I'm like, I'm going for it. And everyone is looking. Like, I take off, and it's just one of those, as I'm passing the instructor, I remember passing my best friend and him having this look in his eyes like, I can't believe you're about to attempt this. But I was in the middle of no man's land. I couldn't stop, so I had to go on with it. And the next eyes I remember looking into was the instructor, and the instructor had that look like, oh, man, you're crazy. And it was, I couldn't break. And I was full throttle, and I go to jump a sand dune. And when I jumped this sand dune, I could see everybody's eyes. It seemed like I could see the dunes, I could see the water, I could hit everything. And I'm flying through the sky. Now, at this time, I'm thinking, I've never done this before. and it starts to scare me. But everything I'm remembering as a kid watching all the motocross and all the excitement. So I'm thinking, you know what, CP, I can do this. I'm doing all this in the air, right? And as I'm flying through the air, I'm like, this is a bad decision. So I'm flying, and I'm up. I was high off the ground. I was probably 6 or 7 feet off the ground on a four-wheeler. And it's like you could see everyone's mouth drop because it was a tour, and it was probably like 14 or 15 people on the tour. It's like everyone is watching and hoping I land. And I go to land, and the thing that they don't tell you is on a four-wheeler, you're supposed to land with your your front wheel supposed to touch first. So as you go up, only thing you have to do is put the front down before you land the back. So for me, I'm thinking I just panic in the midst of my landing, and I land on my back wheel. Now, when I land on my back wheel, that means the front still has to come down, which it would have been a perfect landing if I land on the front. So I land on my back wheel, and now the front has to come down. When the front comes down, that throws you forward. Mm-hmm. So here I am doing about 50 on a four-wheeler in some sand in Cabo, and it threw me. So I'm coming out of Miami, like, oh, when you jet ski, if it throw you, you just let go. So same rules apply. I'm not going to let it drag me. I let go of the four-wheeler, and it launches me like probably 10 to 12 yards while I'm just rolling around the scene. So I jump up real quick. Everyone is running to me. It's just all this dust flying, right? It's dust flying everywhere. The four-wheeler is flipping over. Everybody running over to me. And I jump up so quick. Mind you, I had on all white. I had on white and green seersucker shorts and a white T-shirt. So I jump up so quick. And when I jump up, it was like everyone was running to me to make sure I was okay, but it was kind of in shock. As soon as I looked down, like my entire right side was red, like from me sliding across this sand where I burnt the skin off myself. So
oh my
now
gosh.
I'm talking about it's red and dusty from me sliding across. So I jump up. I'm like, I'm cool. You know, I see the little sand burns or whatever.
Oh!
And, you know, like I'm cool. And so we're halfway at the tour right now. So now the guy panics like, no, we have to get you back. So now we got to drive all the way back, and we're at the midway point. So I've ruined the tour, and the tour guide is taking me back. So as we go back and this wind starts to hit where the sand is already in my skin, it's starting to burn. So tears are coming in my eyes. So I get back to the hotel. I was staying at Los Ventanas. I get back to the hotel and I go to take a shower. And when that water hit me, I almost jumped through the roof like one of those cartoons. You just jump straight through the roof and they see your body print. So I almost jumped through the roof when this water hit me. So I instantly fly back from Cabo. Like the next day, I changed my flight, fly back from Cabo. And we had training camp. And mind you, the Skins had this turf field. A horrible turf field, like the old turf. It's still out there, I think. So they have a turf field, and my entire right side is skin up. So this has been 2 days, I think, 2 or 3 days later. So I already got a scab on it. So when we go out to practice, I got on long sleeves or whatnot, and I'm thinking like, there's no way I can practice. This was like training camp, mini camp. This was mini camp. OTAs, like beginning of June. I go out, and the first play, I just hook slide on the turf and jump up. I tell them it happened there. And forever, they thought I got hurt on that turf. So they took us off the turf, which it was horrible anyway. So they took us off the turf, and the actual story was I was in Cabo on four-wheelers and got hurt there.
Slow clap. I appreciate your thought process there. I'm sure your teammates appreciated your thought process. And I'm also glad that I could facilitate this confessional for you. Congratulations. That's hilarious. You're too much of a daredevil, and I can only imagine you flying through the sand, a little torpedo, a rather large torpedo, rather. That probably was a sight to see.
You know, it was a sight to see. I mean, just for the people. I still think some of the crew, well, maybe for a long time because I think it was Facebook out or something, but people used to hit me on Facebook like, oh, I remember you.
From your sand slide?
Man, it was epic. I came over a dune doing 50, and I was like 7 to 8 feet off the ground on the four-wheeler. And this was my first time ever riding a four-wheeler when I
play too much, entirely too much. But we're going to change the page just a little bit from lighthearted football topics to something that's a little bit more serious, CP. It was announced that the Cleveland Browns signed Kareem Hunt to a 1-year deal. The general manager has spoke about it and says that they have done their vetting of Kareem and understand and believe that he understands the magnitude of what he was involved in. Folks know that he was caught on video in the domestic violence incident where he kicked a woman on the ground, I believe shoved her. And so he was cut from the Chiefs in this past year's football season. Your thoughts, CP, on two things: the Browns signing Kareem, and should Kareem, is he due a second chance at this point? I mean, how does this go in your mind?
Well, I think everyone is due a second chance. And you know, unfortunately for him, he had this incident, this situation arrive, and you can't be, you got to be sensitive to the victim. You know, you got to get understanding. So if they took consideration into this victim and they talked it out and they moved on from it, I think it was a young mistake that Hunt made, and he's done everything that was required of him to get a second chance. Now, you look at the Browns making this decision, and Dorsey was with him in Kansas City. So that's the tie and the connection to saying, you know what, I've been around this guy. I drafted this guy. This is a good kid. This kid had a situation that came to light, but I believe in this kid enough to give him a second chance. And that's what it takes. It takes someone who knows you. It takes someone who knows your character, who knows this was just a isolated incident or a moment of weakness for you that you had to grow from. Because when it comes to dealing with new people and you having such a short rope to go out and trip yourself up again, it takes someone who understands. It takes someone who's going to be honest with you. It takes someone who's going to be able to say, you know what, you can't, like, I'm taking a chance on you. You can't screw me. We need each other. You know, it's kind of like finding a perfect fit. And going to the Browns was a perfect fit for him because this is a familiar face. Now, for him, his community service and everything he has to do to outgrow this incident, he's going to have to continue every day to be the best player, the best person that Kareem Hunt can be on and off the field. Not just on the field where you go out and you get a lot of rushing yards. Off the field, he's going to have to be involved in the community. He's going to have to be for all the rights and everything that's in Cleveland and even national. You're going to have to get into and say, hey, you know what? I made this mistake. I made the mistake of putting my hands on a woman when I shouldn't have. I made a bad decision. Own it. And the moment he owns it, and, you know, everyone is never going to forgive you. But if you can get the majority of the people to understand that you understand that you made a mistake and you're sincere about your apology, I think he's going to be okay.
I agree with you in we should allow people to do work to redeem themselves, to restore good faith in them. I know some of the conversations have gone to other things that we tend to overlook in the league, and I think we got to be careful when we're trying to pick what is worse. In this particular instance, I agree with you. I think that Kareem Hunt deserves a second opportunity, and I hope that he's able to kind of turn this thing into a positive, similar to what we saw Ray Rice do in terms of going and speaking about domestic violence and really taking those efforts to do his part to put that at bay, to raise awareness, to help eliminate it ultimately. But Stevie's giving us the signal. Shout out to producer Stevie holding it down in the absence of Devontae today. But really quickly, CP, before we go into our third segment, the American the Alliance of American Football debuted over the weekend. CBS broadcast drew 2.9 million viewers. The ABC OKC Rockets game drew 2.5 million viewers. Big deal, little deal, don't really care. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it's a huge deal, especially for the AAF, them having the opportunity to have kind of a startup league that pushes to the NFL. Watching some of those tackles, like watching some of the highlights from that game, is kind of what football used to be, because they're not throwing flags when the quarterback gets blasted. They're allowing players to go out and play. And it's a clean game. It's the same simulation. It's not the XFL. It's not Arena. It's not Canadian, where all the rules are different. It's the rules that you play football from high school, college, NFL, and it gives you an opportunity for a lot of guys. I think a lot of guys will get NFL opportunities from this league, because you have real coaches, you have real players, you have former players, you have players that were Trent Richardson, I saw, had 2 touchdowns in this. When you look at Christian Hackenberg coming from Penn State a couple years ago, a high draft pick, the Jets might have taken a chance on him. You know, you see him go out and play, and his debut wasn't that good. But when you see these names, it's familiar names, it's household names, it's guys that performed well in college, that even had a shot in the NFL. They're getting a second chance to make an NFL team. Now, it depends on how long this league is around, but you're talking about the pay as well. It depends on how they pay players, but you're talking about guys having the opportunity to come out of college that don't get drafted or that get cut. Now they have somewhere to go. Instead of sitting at home being depressed and football is over for me, you have the AAF here, and you're going to get an opportunity to go there and show your skills.
I'm all for more spaces to show off your skills, more second chances. This may produce some incredible stories where we follow guys' paths from the Canadian League to the AAF and then back to the NFL. Who knows? But I do know that CBS won't air another AAF game until the championship game. So if people really are into it, we'll see when they go seek out where to catch these broadcasts. But let me pay these bills real quick. Extreme opportunity to win millions of dollars ahead. The Extreme Million Scratcher could get you $10 million without you having to do anything extreme at all. The game has a $10 million top prize, a $1 million second prize, and over $256 million in total prizes in the entire game. All you have to do is head to your local lottery retailer. This game will make even the dullest winter day sparkle. You have 30 chances to win per ticket, and there are multipliers in this game too. If you have a non-winning ticket, you can enter it into the final second chance drawing in April for a $1 million prize. Don't spend the day staring out your window or leafing through a magazine you've read 1,000,000 times. Shouldn't you check out Extreme Millions? That's an extremely easy question to answer. Let me tell you a little bit about our friends at your local DC area Meineke car care centers. Great place for everything you need to get done for your car on the road. It is so important to maintain your car, and there are 19 Meineke car care locations in the greater Washington, D.C. area to help you do so. So don't let car trouble slow you down this year. Sign up for Meineke Rewards to receive free towing in your nearest Meineke location, where their team of total car care experts can get you back to your car and on the road. Save time by booking online at Meineke.com. Meineke, on with life. Thanks for continuing to roll with us here on 26 Minutes. Clinton Portis joins us from somewhere gorgeous on the planet Earth. Jake will be back next week, hopefully. And then I'm Meineke McNutt. New today, we're super excited. I don't know if we're super excited, or I think football fans are probably eager to figure out where this thing goes next. But Antonio Brown, formerly, sort of Steelers fame, the wide receiver, posted on his Instagram account what looks to be a goodbye video. CP?
It's no what looks to be. He's saying goodbye. That's definitely Antonio Brown saying goodbye to Steeler Nation. When you look at the video, thank you still nation for a big 9 years. Time to move on and forward. New demands on the way. That means his time is done. And when you look at the Steelers organization, which we spoke a lot of this year on 26 Minutes, because they had numerous incidents, Le'Veon Bell situation, the lineman speaking out, Antonio Brown request, just for how that team all of a sudden imploded over the last 2-3 years. I think since James Haskins, well, actually Troy Polamalu, because that was a franchise that always kept their players. You look at Troy Polamalu, you look at James Harrison, you look at Joey Porter, and those guys who kind of feel like they were forced out. You look at the big D tackle that they had. It was kind of, they forced them out. Casey Hampton, they just forced these guys out. And now all of a sudden you see this new wave, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, saying, hey, we want to leave, and it's turned into a mess. And for that organization that's normally been a really quiet organization, that's normally handled things in-house, it's like, you look at the coach and you think, this coach is great, this coach is excellent, but the way he's handled two of his star players, and Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, just makes you question what's going on in Pittsburgh.
So, okay, but I wish you were here, because at this point, I'm still going to do it even though you're on the phone. I got to push you, though, because I think there's a difference, at least the way I've watched it unfold. Obviously, you're the ex-NFL, we'll defer to you. But there's a difference between the way Le'Veon handled it and the way AB has handled it. Like, AB has been in the wrong, I think, to a degree through this situation. Like, why are you airing out locker room issues? Like, and why are you just cutting a fool unnecessarily? Well,
you could say AB has been in the wrong, but there's been a bigger issue in that locker room that guys are saying Ben Roethlisberger never gets in trouble. And some of the incidents he's been involved in. No one ever punishes him. No one ever says anything. Now, all of a sudden, you got Le'Veon and Antonio Brown. All of a sudden, the locker room comes out and say, hey, he's been selfish. All of these leaks from inside of the locker room or voices of people nearby and close, it's changing Antonio Brown's character. Hey, this guy has been selfish. The coach already said if he didn't make plays, we wouldn't deal with him. So it's just starting. It's not Antonio Brown that's leaking the locker room. It's someone else that's leaking the locker room. Because how is this information coming out? The same with Le'Veon Bell. You see, when you see an organization handle situations with players that invest so much into them, all of a sudden, guys get in this position. You see it in the NBA all the time. NBA, oh, man, Thon Maker requested a trade. Who is Thon Maker? You say, well, he got traded. He got his wish. You look at a lot of guys in the NBA, they request a trade or they request a buyout. What team's just going to pay you $20 million to be done with you? And you see that often. Enes Kanter in New York. Hey, I'm not playing here. I want to buy out. Okay, here's $20 million. Go do what you want to do. NFL, you don't have that luxury. But for Antonio Brown to request this trade, and we all know where the trades normally happen. It's always in Indy during Combine Week. This is where all the breaking news come from. This is where all the big trades go down. So it's close to Combine where we see Antonio Brown be moved.
Certainly something that we're all going to be watching. Any chance he winds up here?
I think he's too big I think he's too big of a personality for the Redskins. If they can't handle him in Pittsburgh, they definitely couldn't handle his personality, his demeanor, his want, his will, because he's tenacious. He wants the ball. You look at Pittsburgh, he's getting 15 to 20 attempts per game. We don't even throw the ball 20 times per game. So I don't know if that would be a good fit. It would be a great talent to have. The playmaker, the explosiveness that you're looking for, but can this organization handle him? Like, I don't think if you can handle Deshaun Jackson, I don't think you can handle Antonio Brown.
That's a good point. Plus, we got to figure out exactly who's going to be potentially throwing him or any other receivers the ball for that matter.
Are uninvited pests ruining your plans? Let PMSI, the pest control partner of the Washington Redskins, handle it for you. Call today for your free inspection, and they'll work around your schedule to provide you the best solution possible to defend your home territory against pests of all kinds, including mold. Visit mypmsi.com for the game plan to control the pests on your home turf. That's mypmsi.com.
This is Rick Goslin with the Talk of Fame Network. This NFL season, FanDuel has more ways to win than ever before. New Beat the Score contests pay out everyone who hits a certain score. Now it's easy to find your friends and challenge them to play head-to-head fantasy contests for cash or bragging rights. New players, try FanDuel today and get a $20 bonus when you make your first deposit. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/Rick.
New users only. Bonus not available for withdrawal. State and age restrictions apply. For eligibility rules, terms, and conditions, go to FanDuel.com.
John Riggins here with a little tip. If you need a mortgage, take my advice and use the pros at McLean Mortgage. Buying a home can be stressful and filled with hassles. The experts at McLean Mortgage understand what an important financial investment your home is and will seamlessly guide you through the process to successful home ownership. Smooth, amazing, easy, professional, and first rate are just some of the reviews from their tens of thousands of homeowners, including me. I trust McLean Mortgage, and I hope you will too. Check them out at McLeanMortgage.com.
Hail to the Redskins this year with gear from the official Redskins team store. From Nike player and personalized jerseys to a great selection of new era hats, the Redskins team store has you covered. Plus, we have an amazing variety of youth and ladies apparel and everything you need to throw the perfect tailgate party. And we have signs, flags, and collectibles for the perfect Redskins man cave. So hail to the Redskins in style at any of our 4 Redskins team stores or online anytime at RedskinsTeamStore.com.
I'm trying to meet that boy Clinton Portis, though. They say that boy they say he's smooth on his feet. I'm trying to teach him something. Teach him something.
All right, on our other fantastic list of topics this weekend were the Grammys. Is Drake really at the Grammys? I cannot wait to discuss if that's accurate.
I don't know where Jake is, but he's always doing something.
Well, I'm sure he'll have some sort of Grammy recap, even if he's not actually there. One thing that stood out from the Grammys, for me, I guess for all of us, since we agreed to this topic, Cardi. One, her dress on the red carpet, I was like, wow, really? But I think when she won, her reaction was just so genuine.
I think everything about Cardi is genuine, and I think that's what separates Cardi from the rest of the same. Winning Best Rap Album, that is huge. That's first off, it lets you know that most of the albums coming out, I won't even discredit. I wouldn't even give you a disclaimer to say that, because I was about to say most of the albums coming out aren't about anything more, but I actually ride around listening to Cardi B. So she has a dope album. She's a dope individual. Like, her songs, her lyrics actually make sense. Her hooks are catchy and memorable. Like, you could understand, although she has this language barrier, like myself, you can actually understand her. Whereas most albums, after 1 or 2 songs, it's like, okay, next. Like, I can pull 2 songs. Her entire album was dope. And then when you look at how she owns everything, that's what makes her so likable in so many households. You look at how she just owns everything, and she kind of go through it as everyone else does. You know, her personal life, she go through it with the fans. Everything, when someone snaps, you know, her fights, her arguments, it's all public because there's cameras around her constantly, and she's not trying to hide it. She own up to it. She say what she say, and she move on. And I think that's what makes her so likable. So this is well-deserved, especially after having a child, going through what you went through in the public eye, still bouncing back. As she said, I was in the studio for 3 months, not sleeping in my bed while I was pregnant. I deserve this. I worked hard for it. I totally agree.
I agree with you 100%. I do think she brings a level of authenticity that even people that don't know that's what they're looking for, that's what you're looking for. Her speech about how she thanked culture, I thought that was adorable. As a woman, for women that are parents, like, you can still be a mom, achieve your dreams. It was dope. And I also love that people were all up in arms that she got into a fight at a New York Fashion Week party, but she still made her way to the cover of, I believe, Vogue magazine. So shout out to Cardi for doing her thing like no one has done it before. But CP, since you're looking at the ocean and listening to waves and whatnot, you can't see Stevie giving me the signal to rap. So with that, I'm gonna let you do your thing over the phone, and if you mess it up, I'll clean it up, because that's what teammates do.
It's no messing up. We missed out on a great topic. I think we had a great discussion, long, lengthy. So for everyone that enjoyed 26 Minutes, episode 26, thank you for listening. Our loyal fans, we got to be over 1 million views by now, Monica. I don't know. Stevie, Devontae need to pull it, but our fans make the show special. So thank you for listening. Join us next week when Jake returns from the Grammys and all of his pre-Grammy parties and post-Grammy parties, and we'll discuss that. So thank you for joining 26 Minutes. Catch us next week, episode 27.